Well, hello everybody. New setup here. I sound like a radio announcer. I've got this mixer. It's absolutely awesome. I love it. And guess what? The paleontologists or archaeologists, they say, have broken ranks, and they are saying that the oldest Homo sapiens ever have been discovered. The 300,000-year-old fossils discovered in Morocco had modern faces and more primitive brains. For starters, that is a modern head. That's not a primitive brain. The brow is about maybe 2 or 3 centimeters, but lots of humans walking around have that today. It doesn't make them primitive, it's just, they're modern humans. They're absolutely modern humans. And do you know what? I've been reading this article, and it says that these skulls were found in the 60s. Hominid bones were first pulled out of the ground here in Morocco in the 60s and were dated to about 40,000 years ago, but the archaeologists were sloppy, and experts began to suspect the date was very wrong. So in 2004, the site reopened, and over the next 7 years, archaeologists unearthed more hominid remains, including parts of skulls and jawbones. They also found animal bones had been butchered and possibly cooked, and stone tools had been burned at some point, all in the same layer of dirt. And this is unbelievable. And they've actually used, they've done some kind of, now you can only use carbon dating to about 50,000 years, which is probably why they dated it to about 50,000 years. But they've got some new tool at the Max Planck Institute. By measuring how many electrons accumulated in the tools over millennia, the researchers dated the layer and the hominid bones to have been about 315,000 years ago. And this is absolutely unbelievable. It invalidates the current Wikipedia article. So basically, the anthropologists in the 60s were following this paradigm here. And this is an even more conservative one, because Wikipedia does like to be conservative, too conservative. And what they're saying is early modern humans have pushed into Europe. You see 37,000 years ago, there's Morocco over here, and they only got to Morocco 30,000 years ago. And the entire narrative is that early modern humans popped out of Africa maybe 40, 50, 60,000 years ago, evolving in Africa 80,000 years ago, and they only got to America with the land bridge 12,000 years ago. And for decades, a man called Jeffrey Goodman, he wrote a book called American Genesis. He wrote another book called Psychic Archaeology. He actually used psychics to tell him where to dig. And he dug. And he found 100,000-year-old tools. 100,000-year-old Cro-Magnon tools, early modern man. And, of course, they didn't publish any of his articles. They said it was wrong, but they were wrong. This discovery proves that all these maps are wrong. Firstly, this map is wrong. He even suggested that possibly Cro-Magnons evolved in America and spread out to Asia by 70,000 years ago, to Europe by 30,000 years ago. But in fact, it would appear that modern humans are pushing 500,000 years old. And, we already knew that because of all these ancient tools, these out-of-place artifacts. We knew this a long time ago. And everything's been suppressed. All the giant bones in America, they've been suppressed. They've all been burned. They were burned in the 19th century, all those giant bones. All that Cro-Magnon evidence, because it didn't fit. Anything that doesn't fit, firstly, it doesn't get published, and if it doesn't get published, it doesn't get studied. There's no point studying it, and I guess it gets tossed away. And this is the first time, thanks to this new technique, that we're actually seeing the early history of mankind and how deep we go. Okay, thanks very much.